Wolf down 62%. Oh my goodness. Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's live show. I'm doing okay. If you didn't tell by the Patreon video this morning, Patreon members, I brushed my teeth, went to sleep, woke up, and my mouth just like had this big bulge in my gum, and I was like, what the hell happened? My wife made some dank ass banana bread, like really, really good. But I think I got some lodged in there. So I've had quite the interesting morning trying to fish this out. I was able to get most of it out, but I'm sorry if I like have a lisp or talk a little funny. I got a big ass like ball of blood in my mouth. It's gross. It's yucky. It's not good. But I took care of it the best way I could. It's starting to get less inflamed, so that's nice. But I'm sorry if I sound a little funny. For the time being, something that I wanted to discuss early on this morning. One, let's make sure you guys know what we're looking at here, right? Let's make sure you know what we're looking at here. One thing is this, right? We expect some crazy things from the market today, right? Vixpiration. If you're not ready, that's why we also said in the video last night, like, hey, if you just want to, kind of sit it out for a moment or pay attention to price action, we can do those things. And right now, I just wanted to display something to you guys that we did discuss this morning over on Patreon just a little bit. We're not going to talk about it too much, but we can see that until we're really losing this low, we're not really worried about this market. We can see that we're below the daily expected move. We can kind of use the futures to show us that little pathway. We can see right now we're trying to break through that trend. So if we're able to show a new low today, we could get a big reaction up, actually, that does sell back down, right? You could get a small reaction up that could sell back down, or you could get a bigger reaction up that then sells back down. So I wanted to point that out. One thing to see here is that all the divergences have held, and we're still not losing price. So even though this looks bad, we still might need to wait a little bit of time and see if that low is really broken to give us that pathway down. I'm going to read off to you guys what I overall stated this morning over on Twitter. And on Twitter, I was really thinking this morning, and I was just like kind of thinking as simply as possible. I go, bears keep trying to show up. That's facts, right? We all see that. Bears tried to show up here. We see bears try to show up here. We see bears trying to show up now. But every single time they show up, they stay uncommitted, meaning they don't take out that previous low to say, yes, we actually want to see this thing tear down. Okay, so we don't necessarily see that at this point. We have to wait until that actually happens. But the big thing here is bears keep trying to show up, but price action says they aren't serious sellers yet, right? Even this gap down now is uncommitted as we see it for the time being, right? So I'm adding some wording there, but for right now, this drop down is overall still holding in the area where it can hold up, still holding within this nice bullish bar in this type of area. So we'll see if we can hold up in these areas. If not, we are most likely going to see that break through the low, react up in some way, and then turn back to the downside. And you might even hear people saying, certain patterns and things like that. But overall, it's just price action for the time being is the best way to look at this market from what I'm seeing. And then I ended that with a little statement there, and I go, if you roll again from here, we can talk, right, bears? If we come down to these levels and we roll again, right now you're rolling this little move right here, you're trying to roll it. So if you continue to make those new lows based on the futures here, what do you have a chance to do? Show a price below this level, and then you would say, okay, here's the sellers, right? Maybe we sell off pretty good, and then a reaction up to actually retest those sellers to head down one more time. That is how we end up at the lower expected move for the SPY, right? 585. Then the last statement here, but right now, all I'm thinking is if we aren't able to break the price down, then I think it's more likely we go up, right? If you're not going to go down, we could see sideways, we could see that, but every single time we fail to go down, we go up. We fail to go down, we go up. We fail to go down, we go up. So I am still looking for us to potentially go up towards that 6,000 price point. All right, for the time being. As that changes, I will tell you it is changing, okay? So for the SPY, for the time being, we do see that downward price action literally on the edge. It is on the edge of showing you that little bear pathway down. I'm gonna keep futures up on my other charts to help you guys out with this stuff. Looks like someone said, facts, are you going live today? Yes, we are, whoever commented on my Twitter post. I just wanted to give a little thought this morning, and I think that's the thought. We talked about these things over on Patreon, so hopefully you guys are well prepared for that and you already have a plan for this. Sorry, I fucking adjust my seat real quick. We're literally going to be on the edge this morning. So if we are able to see downside and we're looking at the regular market, we will have a massive, massive gap, okay? We'll have a massive gap in here where we can reject anywhere in that gap. Okay, so we'll see how this shapes up. We need one more bar in the morning to really solidify what area to look for in that gap. But for the time being, if we don't take out this low, there's not a ton of risk to downside. And if we're talking very seriously about downside, I mean like downside, what would be the thing to look for? Well, it's if this low breaks. So if we're able to break this low, we see a reaction up and we don't recover, right? We see a reaction down, we get that to come to here, we reject again. Then you're heading down to this level. If you break that level, right, and then you come up and you're not able to see some kind of rocket ship above whatever previous high, well, then down at these levels, you can see what? That cross up, get into this type of area where those sellers were at again, and then reject down. And that's how we see something really bad. For the weekly expected move, they would say that that is quite improbable for this week, but that would mean we see something unexpected, or at least they tell you it's unexpected, but really we're dipping down to those lower levels for VIX expiration, right? The repricing of the VIX contracts will be a big deal. So just looking at volatility, we're still playing around in that zone, just like the SPY is for the time being. You don't have the best hints here. All you have is, hey, you went up, you sold off for a moment, but it caught itself for the time being. Okay, so you don't have a lot to go off of here besides, hey, if this 2 hour can reject fully here, where are we going? We're going to fill that gap, and we're most likely going down to 1683 for volatility if it's able to turn down today, which means the SPY, if volatility is able to turn down, we don't break that low, can go make a new high here up towards, for the day, 596.84. So we have to see this morning. We have to see this morning if the bears actually commit, right? We could lose this low and then it builds all the way back and the bears don't commit. The way we know that bears commit is we react down to lower levels. We show that new low at the open and then we're able to turn up and you cross right back down, right? We need to see that big rejection moment here. And then you could say, okay, I take a chance with it, right? Day traders would say, I'm going to take a chance with it in here. I'm going to see that high. And if we break above that high, I'm back. I'm out of those, right? That would be where you put potential stop probably for a day trader. The day trader's taking here and looking for this to break to go down to 585. For your second standard deviation for the day, let's give you guys that for the SPY, right? And looking over at the Qs, look at this. They're not breaking it. They're not even close to breaking it. Okay, you're not even close to breaking this low for the Qs. I just wanted to point that out. So we'll see if it actually does break. If it shows it wants to go lower, we'll treat it seriously, but understand that the bears still haven't fully committed. So we have to see, bam, retest, and then bad things again in order for us to really get bearish in this type of area, right? The important thing is patience here while it changes. The SPY is hitting those critical levels. The Qs are not. So we're watching it very, very closely. Some people talking about Wolfie Boy. Let's go. I gotta look at Wolf. I'm sorry, but I have to look at Wolf. Oh my goodness, look at that thing. Woo! Wolfie Boy. Rejected from the zone. Rejected from the zone. That is just a bad, bad thing, right? We understood what this needed to do. If you wanted to, you could spread this thing out like this. And you can see here, this is a big problem, right? You see, boom. We don't even get up to gap fill. We go into where those sellers are at, and we just go, nope, I'm done, right as we tap into the bottom of the zone. So that's the thing. That's why you got to be paying attention to these zones and see like, oh, that rolled over at the end of the day yesterday. You know, it had, I believe it had 30-minute divergence up here at the top, right? At least probably even like hourly divergence. Oh, you have 2-hour divergence here too. So this is literally just a warning flag. And especially on the breakdown, you see that gap, you see that come back into there, and you go, oh yeah, that's a downward trend now. Oof, Wolfie Boy, rough time. Target's coming up, though. We got Target earnings. Target earnings this Wednesday morning. Obviously not a good thing to start off. seeing some downside. I am open to the target of about 77.50 or anywhere in the top side of the zone. I do like it. I am ready to purchase more target, baby. You can't shake me out of my investment. I don't give a shit if it goes down. I like target. Target acquired. So very good stuff. Very good stuff. Bitcoin also coming up to our line. This is where I'm worried about Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin was able to see something bad and then extend that move one more time. Maybe the market's able to do the same, but you are holding every single divergence. We're getting up to our 106.212 target. So that tells me that this is very likely to reverse trend for a moment here and get a daily pullback. Where would I be paying attention to for that daily pullback? Well, where did the buyers come in? Right in here. So I'm paying attention to this block and some of the buyers in there. If we really need to reload, well, then you can come all the way down into the buyers into here. Oh my goodness. Let's see right before the open. Let's look at a little 5-minute from last night. Let's look at a little 5-minute here. Notice this, even though it looks terrible, you look at the 30-minute, we haven't broken the low here. And you look at the smaller time frames, and what is it really doing for the 5-minute? Well, it's trying to cross up. It's trying to say, hey, we're trying to make that new high. We've kind of failed to do so. We dip down into the bottom where those buyers could be lurking, and you want to see upside right here for that 5-minute if you want to get bullish. You want to take this level out cleanly, and then you want to start to fool around with other things. All right, SPY, let's get into you, and let's see what this 30-minute has in store for us. We are opening up below the daily expected move, which means we have a lot of time to go back into the daily expected move. From open all the way to close, we can see lower side, right? We can see bottom, but we can see lower prices. But at the same time, this is saying you have a 68% chance to close what? Above this red line. Above that red line, we see boom and boom. This is your 68% zone. So 68% of the time, you'll see something like, oh, even if we break down, we could just break down and turn back up by the end of the day. So we'll see if that's able to happen here. Very, very nice. Let me read into some chat now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you guys here today. Oh, real quick. It's about to open. We'll talk about TLT in a moment. TLT is in a very, very interesting spot now. TLT, you are noticing a divergence for TLT while at the same time, the 10-year yield has not broken out to a new high. So if that's able to turn down, that says you are highly likely to see an upward tick for TLT soon. Hell yeah, Richard. Have you shorted? Did you short Wolf? I don't think you did. You short Wolf? That'd be sick. Good morning, guys. Wolf puts have to be crazy. I don't know if you see like blood. Alrighty. All right, we have come back into the daily expected move. We have not lost the lower end just yet. Thanks for covering TLT. I know I just kind of shouted out. We can go look at it in a bit. I still think the yields have a chance to go a little higher, but you are seeing TLT, Steve. If you're part of Patreon, right, you could see the expected moves there coming into play. Right now, we're just watching like a hawk. Like, hey, do we see a lower price than 588.10? Okay, perfect, Steve. Good. Look at those levels. Mark those on your chart. And then you can even look at those shorter time frames and see if anything shapes up like, hey, we want to reverse around a little bit. That's something that I potentially will do today. And I'll show you what I'm really looking for there. Kind of looking at yields for that too. Like this 30-minute for yield still looks good. Still looks like it's in an uptrend. So I don't know if it's like buy right now. I think it's more like just wait to see what happens in a second. Okay, so you already got the calls. I think risk to reward wise, it's not bad. All right, we are seeing the market try to build back a little bit better right now. You made a decent amount. Richard, that's probably pretty. I'm out of Wolf forever. That's probably a good idea. Hims is squeezing again? What the hell, dude? Here, let me go look on my other screen real quick. Hey, that's nice. So the good part here for him, actually, one thing that you need to watch here for Hims, um, one thing we need to watch for Hims is right now you haven't seen the way higher, and you technically did make a way lower. Okay, so for Hims, you see this? Yeah, you would like it to peek its head above, right? You would like it to make that, like, kill that off. Because right now, those sellers are still holding price. So if I was really looking here and I was seeing this, I would be like, okay, let's at least get through this. Let's show something. If you get through both, that's even better. Look for the retest down into that low, right? If you see a buy come in like this, most likely you're going to do that and then go up. And this would be where it's a little bit safer. Hopefully it doesn't just run right away. Yeah. The reason that I'm a little sketched out by this and why I'm pointing it out is because right here, you see that low dipped below, and then you made like almost like a lower high. So if you're able to get price back down to there and you reject at a lower level, right, that would be the way down in my mind. This market stinks. So does my bathroom. No. Oh, shoot. I don't have my water this morning. Lame. Freaking lame. Where's my agua? Damn it. Agree. I was in it this morning on the pullback. Looked like a trap, waiting for pullback to get back in. I kind of get that. This could be your pullback, but you're kind of like, what's going on with price here? What's going on with price? If we look at like MACDs and stuff, your 2 hour still is dramatic, and you might be at that turning point. So any looking lower high from Hims should put your like kind of your red lights on. I'll show you again real quick on the 2 hour. Look at these divergences, just kind of straight down with this rejection one. But look at this. Look at this RSI. That's just not a lot of strength there left. So if you're not able to break through, or even if you do break through, you still have to be aware if that's some kind of trap. Because if you just go like bink bink and you see like bink bink, it still would potentially be some weakness there. And then you're obviously like, hey, I could, hopefully you have monthly expected moves or weekly expected moves to give you some guidance. Yeah, I think that worries me a bit. But here's the thing, with stocks that have that look in this bullish environment, if you're able to see a big upward move that wipes out all of that divergence or most of that divergence, then you would obviously be paying attention to, hey, we made a new high. If you make a higher low, okay, we can head to the upside, right? You don't necessarily want to be like bearish on it until it actually like tells you the bearish thing, which for now, I think it's trying to tell you something bearish, but it's not really like proving itself in the best way. I think Bitcoin is setting up some kind of downside move soon. I think that might leak into like, it could be today, right? We're seeing downside to start off the day. We're reacting up. We need to see how this 30-minute bar shapes up. That's kind of why we're just staring at the SPY. But we did give you some things to pay attention to for like Apple. Look at Apple starting to break through the low, still holding divergence at this point. So what you need to do for Apple is you need to take this out, and then you can see a nice 2 hour move. If you can take that out, you're looking pretty. And if the 2 hour can figure its stuff out and not reject from like that gap fill, that would be very, very nice. Tesla trying to hold price right now. Going to be very important for Tesla to hold price for the moment. Amazon, some people talking about shorting Amazon. You're seeing pathways down for sure for Amazon. We'll look for when it changes. Now, the 2 hour is still positive in some way. So if you get any reaction to take back this entire block, we can use that block as support on the way up, right? Bam. That'd be how you head up. Heading down, pretty simple. Keep going down, actually. I would like it to keep going down. Show a reaction past here, build up, and then reject from that zone again. And that's how you get down towards gap fill. Yeah, I think that's the best thing there. Nvidia still holding. Crazy how Nvidia is still holding. That's wild. That's actually wild. That's so crazy how Nvidia is still holding that sideways price action. QBTS, did it end up going up again today? 2 hour looks okay. 30-minute looks okay. I think you maybe gap fill and continue. I would like to see like $14 and then continue. That's what I would like to see from it. I don't see it stopping like right this second. Moves like that can stop at any moment, right? Moves like this one, they can stop at any moment. But look at that little breakout type move right there, and then it gaps up. So you got to be cautious with these ones shorting because I know you're looking at all like daily divergence and things like that or whatever. Probably divergence here. But this is where it's important. Like, hey, you had the divergence. It started to curl, right? But did you ever get the confirmation of the divergence here? And the answer to that question is obvious, is no, just blatantly no. You didn't even come close to confirmation here for even price, as far as closing below the 9, for the RSI, as far as crossing through the signal. You never saw any of that. So there was no reason to be bearish on QBTS. And I still think there's potentially no reason to be bearish on QBTS right now because all it has to do to continue is come down into this type of area where those big buyers showed up or just stop in here. It could literally stop here and turn up. It could stop all the way down here and turn up. It could stop all the way down here and do what? Turn up. So it has a lot of room here. And once you start to close below like 1250, you could start to be like, okay, now we're going to do what? Oh, we might start to react up and roll. So, and a lot of this is just like, hey, is my MACD positive? Well, is my MACD positive? Is my MACD positive? Is this positive? Is this positive? And then it curls up. Ooh, bam, to the upside, right? If you want to treat it more simply and not even look at price action, you're just like, can that 30-minute continue? Looks like a yes to me. Can the 2 hour continue? It looks like a yes to me. So most likely this ain't done. That is the most likely thing here. Most likely it is not done. You can see some kind of 30-minute move like this, 30-minute move like this, right? Then you see like a 2 hour move down, maybe even deeper than that to come back down into some liquidity, maybe even deeper than that, right? But if the 2 hour can really extend here, you see how long it would take to go negative, right? That'd be very, very nice. So you just don't want to lose what for the 2 hour? You don't want to lose the block that you formed. I would say you don't want to lose like 1038. You can hold up in here, but I wouldn't want to lose 1038. That starts to open up doors to the gap fill. It looks good, though. I'm not going to lie. QBTS looks good. Shorting things in an uptrend is difficult, okay? It looks like it continues, though. I would look at the $20 price point. If you can get to $20, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, we can go check on some things as we're waiting for this 30-minute bar to form for the next like 19 minutes. We'll just look back at the SPY in about 19 minutes. Let's go through a few. JP Morgan, look at this. Tapping into the zone, seeing what? Support. Very, very nice for JP Morgan. Something like AVGO never showed any kind of pathway down, and it keeps showing little pathways up actually for the 30-minute. 2 hour, the obvious thing you want to do is make a new high here for the 2 hour. That can extend the move. Watch out for divergences and stuff like that. I think we might be leading. If you watched my video last night, I am looking for those 2 hour moves, and I'm understanding they would continue the positive trend. And from that standpoint, though, you're creating some major divergences like across the board. Same thing could be said for what? Palantir, right? Palantir not really opening up that pathway down for the 30-minute just yet. We'll see if it does. Palantir obviously wants to take out this high right here at 128.25, but really you want to take care of all of that gap and you want to show some upside here. The 2 hour overall, if we're looking at this very, very simply, how can it continue? Well, this just curls up, right? We see positivity, we curl up, we go make a new high while we're within those buyers, right? This is zone, this is like that zone resistance, zone support. These are the actual buyers that stepped in. You just always look for that big buyer bar. I don't know why. I'm talking funny if you didn't know. My mouse all messed up. Google. Someone did ask about Google as well. Google was the confusing one for me, and thank you for asking, because we haven't lost this. The problem with right now is you're in the middle, right? You're like, oh, we want to, okay, boom, boom. Okay, we have this, we have a higher low. Okay, we want to go higher. Okay, we're holding up. Then we make a lower high. That's the problem for Google. So what Google needs to continue to go up is take that out and take this out. Then you can start to see some kind of two trend move up. And then you'll be watching out. I mean, looking at the 2 hour, you could spend some time down here. What I really want to watch out for is one big flash move, and then the SPY hits like 600 or the SPX hits like 6,000. And then we start to see that thing tear down, which isn't a bearish thing at that point, right? If we hit 6,000, that's a very, very good thing for the market to do. And even if it pulls back from there, it is a very bullish thing to happen. And I think you could see a pullback as SPX tries to hit 6,000 if it's able to, right? So Google, I think that you might have one more push left. If that push can break through, right, that means that the direction right now would be still potentially up, right? Unless you see that low at, what is this? Unless you see this low right here broken. But this, like, this is why it's confusing, is like you dictated a low here and you just lost it. So if you reject from anywhere in these sellers, that can be a problem, and you can rotate that down and break this, try to come into these buyers right here. If these buyers fail, right, and you just see that come up to this area again and sell again, well, then you can go take care of it. Like, that opens the door to a lot more downside for Google. So I would just be watching this low like a hawk, and then understanding there might be only like one more 2 hour push higher for Google. So far, direction for now has been slightly up from the open, obviously. You want to look at Meta real quick? Yeah, it's obviously down, but for now, we're still holding price. We're still okay. Once it changes, we'll change. We're not going to change too early. Actually, this is very good for Meta. Meta needs to get above this level. You want that to happen right now. So if you look at the 2 hour, you look at this, you go, oh, okay, if I'm treating the market very simply and I don't even need to pay attention to price action, I just go, okay, price is doing it above the 9. RSI is doing it, crossing down there. I got an hour and 45 minutes to watch this bar, right? But are we doing the things that really break us down? No, right? So this would say, oh, okay, we're not even breaking down below this. We're not breaking down below this. So we're trying to close down the way we go lower here for Meta. And if you can peek your head above this and you don't see some major rejection from those sellers up above, and you just don't cross down to lower levels, but instead you retest, that would be fantastic. So you're going to be in a moment here where you're stuck between the sellers and the new buyers. And if this can scale up over time here and you reject, you're still looking for what? If that holds up by those buyers and turns to the upside, right? The way you go down is you have to reject from here and lose that low. So what is being suggested from Meta right now is we weren't able to make the new low. So therefore, even a rejection from here, you want to pay attention if you get a retest and go higher. That's what it seems like to me for Meta. If I want to treat it very, very just simply, I would say, okay, 2 hour crossed up on MACD, RSI. If I want to assume some risk, I can put a stop down at this wick, and I can say, okay, I'm expecting this to go make a new high, which gives you kind of that risk to reward right here, right? Kind of like a 2 times, 2 to 1. Apple, we did go over a little bit, right? See if that's it. See, Apple has opened up the door. Do you see that? Like, you see that Apple has now like kind of shown you like, hey, I can go lower. It's also created divergences all across this, right? Those divergences as of right now are flat and up on the RSI. So that tells us what? The only way that Apple gets through this is by taking out this high and beating the sellers at the gap, which means this is one where if it confirmed up, right? We saw a 30-minute confirm up like this. This is how I like to play these. I'll walk you through how I like to play things like this, because I like to trade Apple. So I see a 30-minute divergence, but we've opened the pathway to go a little bit lower, right? So what I want to see here is the divergence confirm. I can grab that. I can either say I'm going to manage it tightly, or I'm going to manage it up at these type of levels to see if we reject, right? Or I could say I'm going to hang on to that, move my stop up to like here, see if that confirms, take it, see if we beat the high, say everything's good, watch the retest very closely, and then if that takes out my stop at any point, I'm kind of out of the move, right? And then I could say, hey, if it goes up, that's fine. If it goes down, that's fine. I'm just not going to be trading this, right? I can sit on the sideline for a second and see if there's something a little less, you would say, rejecting back and forth. You're in a weird moment for Apple where you're caught between, again, like Meta, sellers above, but buyers trying to step in now and divergence. So if you're able to see that divergence break through that high, aka go positive, that would be the best case scenario here. And you look at the 2 hour and you're like, okay, well, what's going on for the 2 hour? Well, the 2 hour is starting to creep into negative territory. So you really want to see that positivity like now to go up to something like 217.50. And then I'd be watching out. And even weekly expected move, maybe 217.50 is a little too big. Nope, it's not. Actually, it's too small. It's actually too small. My bad. Let me go here. Let's look at volatility over here real quick. Ooh, volatility. Did that make a lower high here? Oh my gosh, it's so close. Gap down at 830. 1929. 1928, 1928. So it would say, you know, a little edge lower. Want volatility to start to close on the shorter term below 1850 to have a chance here for the SPY. Note that Apple has not confirmed the 30-minute divergence just yet. Note that we do not have 2 hour divergence on the MACD and RSI at the same time. You have it on your RSI, by the way. You just don't have it on the MACD at the same time. And I like mine to be at the same time, right? I want the most reasons behind any kind of bearishness. This means if we get the 2 hour move up like this, everyone might celebrate that. Like, look at the goal here, too. Like, let's really think of the psychology of traders right now. Oh, we're going to bust it down. Nope, we're going to bust it back up, right? Oh, we're going to bust it. Nope, we're going to go back up. Oh, definitely going down. Look at that news. Nope, we're going back up. Oh, we're going down. Expiration. Nope, what's happening here? So eventually, the bears are just going to be like, screw it, man. We can't sell down this market. And right when the bears go, okay, screw it, this market's just bullish, we're going up, they might start to extend that move a little bit, but create that 2 hour divergence, that 30-minute divergence at the same time. And we could see something like this shape up, right? And this, right, would be another moment where they're like, oh no, see, it's a trap, right? The first push, they're like, it's a trap. And then it pushes a little higher and they go, fuck it, man. This thing is resilient. We're going to all-time highs. We just passed 600. And then it actually starts to break down and we lose the low. That's the psychology I'm reading into right now. I think people are very eager to just like sell everything and like buy puts and do all that. But it keeps not working. It keeps not working. And they're not committed with it, right? So the positions aren't big enough. Google's just ripping now. Good. It needs to. Google needs to rip. If I could frickin' find it. It needs to rip. Yeah, I want to see this thing tear through, wipe out all these divergences. And then I want it to set a trap up here, weirdly enough. I know that's crazy, but I would like it to set the trap up here. I would like it to be like, yeah, we're doing it, man. And then be like, ah, shit. And then everyone goes, oh my God, Google is crashing. And then it just curls back up. That's what I would like to see from Google. But Google's spent more time down here, which is very, very nice. Remember, Google's taking care of the gap. So Google doesn't have to stop, but we'll pay attention to our weekly expected moves and anything worrisome around there, right, Patreon members? So Google is just an interesting look. It's very interesting. And I would even say for me, right, I can admit things, right? I'm an honest guy. For me, I think Google's a little bit confusing. Boo, Apple. Offering of common stock. Yeah, I've been here. I've been. I need to read into it more, but I did see some weird things, like people talking a lot about Japan. I did see that. You got 489 calls. Wait, for which stock? Oh, SPY? 589. Okay, SPY 589. I think 589 calls is pretty good. You probably have zero DTE. You probably have zero DTE. This market's been really good at screwing over zero DTE lately. Did you notice that? People are zero DTEing puts in here and calls for like 595, and it just drags it out all day. And then in here, they really, cooked a lot of the calls yesterday. So zero DTE has been very rough. Yeah. You might have a chance today, though, right? For one of these type of moments. That'd be nice. You just see bam. We just scale that thing all the way up into like Wednesday afternoon. And then we'll be watching for the continuation type move, right? The sell off towards like 12:30 into the end of day. And then you start to see that lit back up, or just retesting end of day. And then you see it move up. But remember, VIXpiration, right? We can see a lot of funky things throughout the next, I would say, couple of weeks. I see her every day, baby. Yeah, Richard, that's how I like doing it. I still like doing that because you'll catch premium going up as people reach out further. Yeah, rates are going up. I'm keeping my eye on things. Volatility hasn't broken through the previous low just yet. Rates did not make a new high, though. Even though you see TLT breaking down to lower levels, look at the 10-year. The 10-year is not making a new high right now. We'll see if that can continue, right? But if this starts to break below here, uh-oh, you go wham. Oh, no, it's catching back up. Oh, wham. And then you actually see it break down as we break through this level. We'll see. Well, let's look 4-hour too. Yeah, 4-hour holding this point too. That's very, very good. Even for the lower high, it's good to hold that point, right? But you can see 4-hour, what does it want to take out? That same level, that same level. So there's no mix up here. 2-hour and 4-hour want to see closes below here, which means TLT, if you're looking at it, is at critical levels, and you might have weekly, monthly expected moves maybe to help you out for the end of May. I think 596 would be a great price for SPY today. I think that'd be great. You tap 596, or you tap into daily expected move, maybe exceed that, you tap back into it, then you try to reach up towards 600. That would be a very cool little extension here. You'd have to see a big move from here, though. I think you'd have to see a big move, because you still have sellers above. Yo, I'm down for 583 too, right? I'm down for either way. You know me. I'm down for up. I'm down for down. PCC, look at this. Bam, did it work? What do you guys think? Did it work? You're getting that bearishness to come in before bearishness has confirmed. If they're right and that confirms, we'll talk about it. But we are seeing people start to dabble on the puts. You're seeing these big flows back and forth and back and forth. Now you have a higher point of puts, and you're not even down at the lower point. So very interesting time to be alive looking at these charts. Am I right? Dig it. HYG is still holding pretty well. XLU looks like it might have a turning point soon, at least for a pullback. HGX is the worrisome one. HGX is still kind of your warning sign right now. But this right now, with the price action you're getting, we have to see what continues, right? The day can match up. But a lot of people would just say, I'm buying things in here. Don't care. Buying it. And the people who are trying to short, you're shorting before you see the pathway down, just so you're aware. The Qs aren't even close to giving you the pathway down. They're directly on the daily expected move for the open, and they're going up. They're right in the middle of the buyers, right? They're literally like directly in the middle, I think, of the buyers. Look at that. Bam. Right in the middle. You're like 10 cents off. And people are still shorting the market right now. So if we end up going up, you can say thank you to your skills, thank you to your price action analysis, right? If we squeeze to the upside and make a new high, you're going, hey, sweet. As of right now for AMC, you do not want that 30-minute to drop down. That 30-minute drops down, you could potentially give up the entire good move that you did have. Google still ripping. Good. Do it. Come on, Googs. Microsoft could have a little 30-minute rip here too. Let me go check. Okay, good. Let's see Microsoft for a second. We'll see if Microsoft can do it. This would be a tight stop right here at 450, 440. But, and I'm not inclined to play this or anything like that. I'm kind of chilling. But we want to take out this high to continue higher. We can see how we could go, oh, and it's bait, right? We could see how we could continue it by seeing an explosive move. But this right now, you haven't opened that path. So it'd say, okay, tight stop. Up, up, up. Okay, move the stop slightly up. Right? Up, 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 up. Okay. You can get a retest of the buyer, so be aware of that. Be careful with stops when you get retests. But overall, not bad. And we talked a lot about Microsoft. We talked about some kind of 2-hour move that creates that little lip that actually shows you the curve on the MACD and RSI. So if you do get a strong move here and it gives it up on a 2-hour, you say, yes, this is going to be my higher low. Boom to the upside. We lose that. We can start to break down. Then over here, right shoulder that could have been. Don't beat the high. Left, head, right shoulder way over here. That'd be interesting. I want to see deeper prices. I just don't know if we're going to see them right now with price action. So we're just staying aware of it. Good morning, BK. How you doing this morning? What's Netflix doing? Crazy shit. Probably going up. Netflix is probably going up. That's the low you want to watch. 1172. Showing you a way higher right now. Man, when is Netflix actually going to give up? It's probably sooner rather than later, but we said that over here, right? And then it dropped, and then it just builds right back up. It's like a Palantir type move right there. It really looks like you'd have more work to be done here. Like, this is good. It's peaking above. But you see how very quickly, if you just look at your MACD, if that rolls right now, you're going to have to dip back down into deeper buyers. To really get bearish here, though, yeah, you got to lose these levels. But ultimately, to get like really bearish, to see like a big thing, you're going to have to lose this all the way down here. You lose that. Hey, look at this. Right shoulder that could have been. Bam. Left, head, right shoulder. Then you head down. And you head down to where? Probably down in here, honestly. Probably $1,000 to something like $975. But for right now, you're just seeing more pathways up. We're talking about if there's a trap here. If there's a trap here, you could still reach down to these buyers. You really have to lose this low to open up bigger pathways down. And then you have to see that reject, right? You see that. So we'd have to see sellers get aggressive, right? Get aggressive, push the price down on the 2-hour, then see that curl up to potentially test those sellers. And then if those sellers step up again, bam, to the downside, right? And you would say, you know, potential stop up above. And then you're still looking, I would still pay attention to 1058, but also I'd start looking at that zone. Got some gaps down there to fill. To remain, yeah, you'd go like slight negative trend for at least a 2 push down. So that'd be like 1, 2, and then probably a big move like this, 3. And maybe you need to reach into here or here. But I'm not saying, like, one thing is this, right? This is extremely bullish. So overall, when's the next actual setup for something like Netflix? Well, if this daily divergence says anything, then this daily divergence would say that Netflix is going to do what? It's going to reverse the trend. If it's going to reverse the trend, then this should be some kind of big move down, and it shouldn't be a 3, right? It should be like 1, 2, 3, and then you get like a rip, and then it fails and you go down again, right? If this is fully going to reverse around, right, you have to break through here. So I'm not inclined to think that. I think this is extremely bullish, and that would take like you would have to see something crazy for Netflix. Hey, maybe AMC and GME pop. That's the only thing I really see for like Netflix, like causing disturbance there is like if it's part of some kind of like some kind of squeeze game in some way, like manipulated higher so people buy it type deal. For the time being, we can now potentially mark something off here, by the way. We can take the top of this, we can take the bottom of that, and we can say, okay, if we're going to reject, it will be from about there, right at that monthly expected move. What is Oklo doing? Why are you guys... I don't even care too much about Oklo. What's it doing? AMC options, people are buying them. Oh, Oklo. Let's see right here. So probably need to lose these lows. Okay. It could reach down. It could still reach down into anywhere from 34.50 all the way down to like 270, or I'm sorry, not 275, 27.95. And I'd still be willing to say like, hey, that can turn back around. Your 2 hour for Oklo isn't necessarily bearish in any way yet. How would it become bearish for Oklo? If you're watching this, I'm paying attention to right in here. If I'm looking at it, I'm not looking to buy this. I'm not going to do anything with Oklo. I'm looking in here, right? But if this is going to break down, what do you have to lose? You have to lose this right here. You got to lose that guy. So if this really wants to seriously break down and just be like gone, by the way, that's going to be a deep pullback. You probably don't want to lose like this in here, to be honest. That's going to be deep. But you have a lot of room here. Then you could just curl back up. And then you watch for those sellers. You'll be in the battle between the bulls and the bears at that point. And you'll watch for some things. Great move up. In order to really get bearish, though, it's got to break here. Which means you probably do something like this. Break it, then you retest. You see if you can beat that high all the way up there, or else you break down one more time. If the sellers take total control here. That's how this thing ends up going way down. For now, it looks like just a 2 hour move. Like 2 hour pullback. We'll see if it changes. Trying to keep my eye on volatility as well today. Okay, we showed a new low. Showed a lower high, just barely. Showed a new low. Okay, we'll see if that can break down now. SPY trying its best, but running into problemos. We see the 5 minute here reacting directly up into that area now that we have it set. Very thank you to the 30 minute for allowing us to get it set. And then we see down, down, down for now. Let me, is that correct? Oh no, I need to fix this a little bit. Okay. Jesus, can I get this to look all right for you guys? My goodness. Google broke that high. Perfect. That's really good for Google to do. I want it to keep screaming, though. I want Google to keep screaming. Able to break the high. So what does that mean? Look at this. Look at this. I want you to see it. The sellers are all in here. What just happened? Did we just wipe all of them out? We just wiped them out. Now, where did the big buyers come in for Google? Right in here. So if you get some kind of retest, you would be looking in that type of area and then see if that can swing back to the upside. Or, better case, just continue the move, create a block, and then keep going. That's very good for Google. I'm still open to retesting in these levels, especially for like a 30-minute chart. Like some kind of wick down here. You don't have to see it like this, right? It can literally be like up, 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 wick down, then go up again. It might grab orders down in here is what I'm saying, I guess. SPY trying to do a thing as people continue to, well, they were bearish, right? Remember, the bearishness is uncommitted. Look how uncommitted this bearishness is. Look at this. First part of the day, fuck yeah, we're going down. Screw it. 1.0, everyone's bearish. Let's get bearish. Let's do it. And now neutral. So you're still in that bearish to neutral stance and you're shifting back to bullish all of a sudden. The bears just have a hard time committing to these plays. That's what it looks like to me. I used to say in college when women were like, "Hey, you know, do you want to be in a relationship? Like, why won't you commit to me?" I'd say, "Girl, I can barely commit to a parking space when I'm driving in a crowded parking lot. You think I'm going to be able to handle a relationship?" That's the bears right now. The bears need to take the plunge. Get by the ring. That's what the bears need to do. They need to buy the ring and be like, "I'm committed." Let me go use the restroom and I'll be right back, guys. Target's on sale. Woo! I like it, Tom. I'm looking, man. I'm ready. I'm hoping it goes down to like what? What was it? What was I looking at? Like 75? No, it wasn't that deep, was it? Yeah, it might have been that deep. I mean, it's going into the buyers right now, but I'm looking at like 76, 80, 76 or 80. But right now, you're just down in the buyers. You haven't even lost the low, so nothing worrisome yet. I mean, it's a bad look for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. And you never made that high above 108, 109. All right, let me go use the restroom, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. My chat working? You guys still here? Or is my chat frozen? Amazon hitting the 200 now. Oh, nice. I just rubbed my tongue in that spot. It has really gone down. You guys fixed it. You guys fixed it. We're not frozen. I'm just not here. Now I'm back. I still am inclined to like look at where the 2-hour would continue the move, and it would be within that gap for Amazon. I mean, if you look at Amazon from the 2-hour perspective, this is the bad part about doing like price action. You should try to stick to like maybe 1 or 2 time frames, but doing price action across 2 can confuse you. So make sure if you're trying to execute a 30-minute trade, really focus on the price action of the 30-minute, right? Because the 30-minute would still say you have sellers that could step in here, you have sellers that could step in here for Amazon. But at the 2-hour scale, if you're going to create some kind of top here, what do you have to take out to go down? You have to take out all this, right? This and this, right? So if we're really paying attention to how it would continue, look at this big ass gap. Look at that big ass gap. Bam. You'd want to test into here, which is where it's at like right now. So it's in a crazy spot where you would say, you know, potentially people will try to buy that up. Maybe if this creates some kind of low here and goes to the high, you get a retest. you can actually put a stop down on this low if it shows itself on the 30-minute, right? So I'm not inclined to be like bearish on Amazon just yet, but it is showing bearish pathways for the 30-minute. Right now, the SPY is attempting to reject. Can we get a dirty rug pull? I think the rug pull is there more so. If we go down now, if we go down right now, I think we just stop right here. If you want a rug pull, I think you want the bears to just give up hope and buy. And that's happening, by the way. You see the give up of hope here, give up of hope now. They were real confident too, more confident than yesterday, right? But now you're like, not so confident, right? So this tells us, let's just pay attention. I think the more psychological thing that could happen here is you just burst higher, people give up, and then you maybe see an extended move in some way, and then you just end up falling down. And that would create everything you need for a rug pull. This would create everything you need for a rug pull. This would create everything you need for a rug pull. I don't know if we have that recipe right now. People are very, very much so like ready to hit that sell button. That could cause a rug pull, right? If everyone starts hitting that sell button. But that's how you, like right now, the way they're manipulating the bears, I'm just heavily inclined to think like, maybe just 585. I'd rather see a trap this week now with price action, how it's behaved. I would have rather seen it right away if we're going to be bad. Just be bad, right? Use it on some crazy news. But since you're not seeing that, I'm inclined to still pay attention to what? Up, right? And then I can look at this 5-minute and just go, okay, what do I need to take out? I need to take out this. If I'm going to keep that pathway to the downside open and not use these buyers, then I'm going to go lower. If I go lower, what am I doing? I'm potentially taking out this low as well. So if we get one more big roll up, that could still be bad. So there's just a lot going on right now. And I bet it's kind of difficult to make decisions in this area because you're like, the bears aren't fully committed and that kind of deal. You're only 16 minutes into this bar as well. If SPY loses 570, yeah, your rug pull will be below 585. It's pretty much like, it's a stair stepper kind of thing for me. 585, 575, 564. Those are the levels, right? Oh, damn it, I didn't grab my freaking water. Another peek at Google possible? I mean, yeah. We can go look again. I don't mind what Google's doing. I think it's trying to show you good things. So now you've wiped out the sellers. So overall, this is saying what? In order for me to be bearish on Google, I have to lose this. Right? This made it much more simple for the 30-minute. All right, lose this. Right? We just beat this. We just beat this, which is exactly what I wanted. Now I would like to see some wicks down into here to grab some orders and just wick up. Wick up. Right? And then start heading that way again. I want to see more from Google. I'll tell you the price I want to see for Google if you were wondering. I want to see 175. I want to see a break. I want to see 176, 175. I want to see a breakout of this zone, which means anything from 174 to 176, I'm happy with. And then I want to see a rug pull. Then I want to see a rug pull. Now, I'm not taking Google. I want to be very honest. I am not taking Google. The only thing I'm thinking about doing is trying to see if we can break through this high and maybe ride that to like 596. That's the only thing I'm thinking about doing for the SPY for now. And I still will use later dated options. Why? Because Vixpiration is upon us. And so if we do this, and then it just gaps down the next day or something like that, I want to be a little bit safe from that. Because you can see some wild things during these times. For Mag 7? Oh, yeah, let's look at Mag 7. Where's my Mag 7 chart? I know I have it. Mags. Mag 7 looks even better. Look at that. Mag 7 looks good now, right? Oh, downtrend, we go lower. Oh, downtrend. Oh, wait a second. Nope, we don't make the new high. Lower. We really clarify like this. This is the line in the sand, right? This is your line in the sand. And look, if you hold that across, it almost is like perfect with this wick. Almost. It's a little bit lower. So what you're not happy about is after you got this, you didn't make the new high. So you had a chance to roll that again because you went lower. But what are you doing now? If you can designate this as a new higher low right now, I'm not believing in this one whatsoever, and you can make it through those sellers, go up, blow all of this out of the water. Just do it right now. Blow it out of the water, reach down to find those buyers again, and start going up. Mags, if you want to treat it simply, just look at a 2 hour. Do you have like divergence on the 2 hour? No, you don't. You do not. So if the 2 hour just crosses up, what is very likely to happen? Make a new high. Hopefully you have a weekly expected move or something like that. But overall, this would say you might be at the tail end for a trap. That's why the video last night was talking about traps, right? We can turn down. We know how we turn down, but what if we turn up? Do we need to be careful with that? Because this could be a moment like a 2020, like a big bottom where you just keep going up. So you don't necessarily, we still want to do that hedge-like positions out there, I think, in this environment. But also you look at mags and you go, man, is this really, really bearish? Well, no, it's just not. It's just not. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. You're not seeing volatility increase, right? So if it starts to increase, you're going to lose that low. You're going to see a reaction up, and then you're probably going to get a dump. But are you seeing that right now? No, you're seeing bullish things. So pay attention to the bullish things. This was your worrisome moment. Actually, if you really want to talk seriously about it, where was the worrisome moment here? It was right here. This was your worrisome moment right here. This was your second worrisome moment, right? Because you made the new low in that, but you're still dipping down in those buyers, right? This was the actual dip down in the buyers. This is where you can really start to go bam, or here you could have went bam, but you didn't. So what does that mean? It means bears failed. Now you have left a gap here, so watch for a retest of those buyers real quick. On the 30-minute, you've left a 30-minute gap. That's kind of crazy. It means there's probably a 5-minute gap too. You want to watch it a little tighter right there. So this means for the 5-minute, what have you done? You've taken out the high, you're starting to uptrend. Okay? So that just means to us, all right, is it like, is it really that good? Well, we've taken out this low, right? We're trying to go up. We would like to see us dip down into these buyers again. That way we can just see some explosive move, or see that explosive move right now as you're dipping into this area. I don't mind mags here. I don't think you have a pathway down right now. We'll see if it changes. It starts to change when you lose this. When you lose this, you want to start putting a bear hat on, which is the same thing for the SPY, by the way. When you lose this, you want to start, dabbling, picking up that bear hat and looking for a rejection. Mike, if you're patient for 2 minutes, you have to wait 2 whole minutes for spamming. If you wait 2 minutes here, and in 2 minutes you can say it again and I'll look at it. Okay, Mike? If it's that drastic, maybe we need to be like a little bit cautious. If something's that drastic, I got you though, Mike, okay? Just try not to spam. When I see it, I'll see it. The reason I wasn't responding to you is because you said it 20 times. Usually if you say it once and I see it, all right, good. Wait 5 minutes. If I don't, say it again. All right, I'm just a person. That's a dump though. I did pull it up. Do you think target jumps or falls? Based on price action, it'd be do we beat the low? Target. Based on price action on the daily, it's do we make the new low here? Right? And then after that, right away, it's do I set up the divergence point again? Right? This could just be going to find those buyers, right? Find the buyers. Find those buyers. Pretty good stuff. Find the buyers. Go down there. Find them. If you find them and you go make a new high here, that's pretty damn good. You really want to get above some key things here, though. You want to see this above 108, 109. That would convince me I don't even have to watch Target at all. You notice I don't watch Target that much. You guys bring it up now, but I don't watch Target that much because I know what? I'm invested. I understand what an investment actually is, and I don't need to watch Target every day. I know the plan for Target is hey, if it goes below this, I try to buy some things maybe towards 76, maybe towards 80. Anywhere in the top side of this area, though, I'm pretty damn comfortable with. I just go, all right, cool. If it doesn't do that, then I just say, all right, I just keep my investment in and I'm chilling, right? Either way, I'm keeping the investment in. So I just don't have to look at it much. I think regardless of what target's at right now, it's a good price. Anything below 109 is a great price to me. Target had earnings. So first move is down, but you did see this peak above to try to get to here. So wiped it out. So weirdly enough, if you don't make a new low here and you just see this start to go ooh and get through all the sellers from there, bam, you're going to try to get above 109. So we'll see if it goes lower. This could take days. This could take days to see. Very nice. Remember that the SPY, the reason that 600 is such an important level is because that peaks your head above. That's when, if you peak your head above in any way, it is a sign that we want to go to all-time highs, but we might need to do what? Reload first. If you don't need to reload first, then you better pop off, son. You better not make a little 2-hour divergence right here. You better pop the hell off. Oh, god dang it. I just talked for like 10 minutes, guys. When did I mute that? Okay, let's go over Bitcoin again. Damn it. I was pretty much saying I want Bitcoin to continue to squeeze. I want it to show its head above this zone. Sorry about that. God dang it. Sorry about that. Sorry, Oakland Group. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I want this squeeze to continue. I want to peak our head up here. And one thing that I was mentioning here, since someone was asking, like, hey, when's the next buying opportunity? Well, would you say it's right now? It could be, right? Blow off top kind of scenario. But I'm more inclined to good decisions in my own perspective, right? The way I trade is going to be the most important. The way I look at markets for my strategy is going to be the most important. So what do I want to see? I want to see us keep squeezing, peak our head above here. Then the daily pulls back into buyers or the block, right? Halfway into the buyers of the block, halfway into the buyers of the block. I am heavily inclined to pay attention to this area right here, as it is the center of our zone. But what I would like to see is that come up and then drop. And during that drop, you might see like altcoins start to get pumped into or something like that. That could be very, very interesting. I'm not like a crypto expert or anything like that. I believe a crypto expert was just whoever believed in it first and bought it at like, anything below 10K. That person's the expert. But the reason for this being able to go for another upside move is you're peaking your head above the zone. Then you come back deep into the zone to find those buyers. Then you're able to see what? The next curl up here. And this is where you could really start to make your way towards 129K. Watch out for daily traps up here and things like that. But look how extended the daily time frame is. So even if that pulled back, would that even go negative? If that dropped by, if let's say we peek our head up and we hit like 112K, a 15% drop. Based on the behavior and the things you see on Twitter, a 15% drop. Bitcoin has gone up by how much since the confirmation of daily divergence right here? Bitcoin has gone up now 28% or 30%. If you peek your head above here, that's 33%. That's just like a 50% retrace of this move, roughly. But you know how people are on Twitter, and they will start to say, Bitcoin is dead. It's the top for Bitcoin. It's a massive trap. And you just look at your MACD and you're like, it's extremely positive. So if the daily MACD curls up, you're very likely to make a new high here. You've only really seen like one push higher for the daily time frame. So you're pretty much like, is this really not even going to be a two push higher? Is this really not going to be like boom, boom, and then at least get that extended move to like explode higher? Okay, well, if it's going to be a 5 and you're going to set a trap way up here in the summer, well, then you might see something like this, right? And then you see a trap in the summer. But for now, I don't even see that trap in the summer for Bitcoin. It's just strong, right? That's reading a little bit too far into the future in my mind. So I would really think it holds price better, actually. So the next opportunity would be, I would like to see that way higher. I want it to continue to squeeze. Then I would like to see it dump into those buyers. Then I would like to see it curl up. And I think your opportunity is somewhere in here, right? Somewhere in there. Somewhere towards like 98K. You have to see if things are going to turn around. How do you see if things are going to turn around? Well, you look for 4-hour, right? 2-hour and 4-hour divergences. What do you see from this 4-hour for Bitcoin right now? It's showing a lot of those divergences. So I just want it to spike up and show that way higher and then confirm all those divergences and start to reverse the trend down. 1, 2, 3, then curl back up. Maybe you get lucky and even see a divergence right here. That would be nice. Yeah, divergence is very good for Bitcoin and just taking in consideration as well, like daily timeframes. I really like 4 hours, 2 hours, and dailies for Bitcoin, if you didn't notice. I do not look at 30-minute charts for Bitcoin. SPY continuing to try to figure its stuff out. And during that downturn, I think it would be interesting to see if those alts can see some kind of pop, like people kind of leak out of Bitcoin, go into, say, markets and altcoins, and then you start to see everything kind of tumble and follow Bitcoin to the downside. That could be very interesting. Yeah, I was focused. I guess I reached up. I think I thought I was muted when I like sat down, and so I hit the mute button, but I wasn't muted. That's my bad. Okay, let's look at SPCE for our boy Mike. Mike, I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about you, buddy. So talking about this is more of a dump than you would like to see, in my opinion, but it's still positive. It's just now you have a bunch of sellers to get through here. So that's a big problem. Now you could be just reversing down into what? Just grabbing something down in this gap right there. Come down into that gap, show support, okay. But once you start to lose these wicks in here, you can say downtrend, okay? So for something like this, it would say, okay, if I'm going to take a chance, it would probably be in here or anywhere in this, right? It's just you've given a lot of that up. And you're not guaranteed here to make a new high. The reason for that is you have so much selling coming in for an extended period of time. I mean, look at this drop. You want to take into consideration the drop at this point. That's 40% or more still happening. And so for this one on the 2-hour, sorry, this is a 2-hour chart. The 2-hour can just do this, right? We can come down into that gap and then curl up, and then those sellers take control at any point. But you still would say like, hey, yeah, that's the next opportunity, and then I'm just watching out for the sellers. As far as the 30-minute chart goes, the 30-minute chart can tell you a lot if you're planning on taking like that 2-hour play to the upside, right? Right now, what are you doing? Hey, we react down. Look at this wick. Look at this wick. Look, where did the sellers really step in? Well, it was this bar, right? This downward bar that confirmed you down right there. Look where the sellers step in again. Ooh, right in there. So this is a different kind of resistance we'll talk about in the course. we'll make 2 separate videos for it. But for the time being, we can see that the sellers are winning. And then what happens? You come down, you try to go up, you make a new low, you go lower. You don't even really retest here. So you still could be in the phase where you need to like retest into these sellers and then drop one more time to get into that zone. Maybe you get lucky and you see a little divergence here. That would be nice. But for this one as well, you would say it has a lot of things to get through. It still has to break through all of those sellers that held as resistance here. So if this 2 hour is going to be able to make a new high, you have to see good things. The 30-minute needs to get above this. Boom. Then it would most likely need to just go up to those sellers. I want those sellers to come back in, and then I want to see that retest down in these type of levels again, and then I would like to see that new high, right? And you're hoping for that extended move here if that new high comes in. Because if you do this, you make that high, and then you see a little something like this, oh, watch out, because now you're talking 2 hour divergence, right? So that's how I'd look at SPCE for now. I would say that if you were like, hey, I really want to buy it here, then if like, right, think of your mentality, Mike. And I don't know what your mentality was here, but if you're like, I really want to buy it, I really want to buy it right here, right here, right here. This is cheaper, right? So if you take into consideration that you're getting a 40% discount, if you were wanting to buy this the whole time here, isn't this cheaper? You know, that's what I think about as far as investing goes. Options wise, this is a difficult stock with options, it looks like, unless you're just like taking premiums away from people trying to call squeezes and stuff like that. So if I was really looking at this stock and I'm like, I like anything at the $5, $6 level, well, then now it's half that price almost. So that's how I'd read into it, more like an investment. If you want to do an option play, you got to watch it carefully. For the time being, the SPY on the 5-minute, trying to carve out what? Another high for us to take out, but not necessarily giving us that curvature, not losing divergence at this point. We'll see if this is going to produce more downside by rolling, and then we'll see if we're able to break this low. Once we break that low, we have to be open to rejection anywhere throughout this. You really do. Once you show that pathway lower, you can reject from the same spot. You can reach up to that gap and just make a big, big lower high over here. It can happen, right? And what would you say? You would say what? Oh, what is this? Left, head, right shoulder, right? We don't want to open that pathway down because it could get volatility to increase, and you could see snaps. Reddit. Let's go look at Reddit for just a brief moment here. Reddit's showing pathways down after pathways down after pathways down, and that's a big issue because you tried to go higher. Oh, awesome. Okay, so we've already looked at this one, so we don't have to mark too many things off. We were talking about the gap down in here. You lost this one in here. You used it as support once right here, so that's fantastic. So once again, this could be right here, right? Okay, but for now, marking off that area, marking off this, I would consider it a shorter time frame block and including some of the gap. This could be a big deal because a lot of people could get really bearish here. And what if it just retests and then you see upside? Weirdly enough, price action here is saying this is going to be a retest and it's going to be good, right? Do I want to take that play? Well, what would I do? If this is the low that I really want to hold, say on like a 2 hour, right? We lost this one, so I don't want to lose that one. That opens more pathways down. Then I can say, okay, in here, I could snag something, maybe an investment, maybe a long dated option because that daily move looks like it could go up again. Boom, pathway higher, right? So what you want to see here is this come down to that area, get a good test, and absolutely rip this thing's face off. That's what I think you want to see. I think you want to see this and then just go up. That's what I think. Then you're going to pull back into that zone. Then you're going to go higher, right? Overall, what could shape up here? Some interesting things, right? So how would I overall look at this if I did take an option play here for 2 months? Well, if I have 2 months, maybe I'm a little more relaxed with it. If I only want to take like a week, right? You're doing a shorter dated option. I'd have a stop right there. and say, I don't care. If it breaks there, it's too risky, and this could all be a retest of those sellers to head lower. So if you break this low, the game changes. If you keep this low and you just react into here, the game remains the same, and you could go make a new high. Yeah, I think that's how we see it for now. Tesla looks ready. I don't know if it's ready exactly just yet, but I do think it bounces. You have to lose some incredible things, and overall, it showed you it wants to go higher. So how could it show you that it's going to reverse all that and go lower? Wipe out all of these buyers and make a new low below this, make the new low, then react up into those sellers, convince people it's back, and then roll again. And here would be the area to start making decisions for something like 325.50. If not 325.50, then all the way down. We give it all back. We go to these gaps. You know, this area is very important, but we go to these gaps, or we could end up all the way back down to our 283. That's how volatile Tesla is. It is very volatile stock. I'm not leaning towards 283. I'm leaning towards up right now until I see it lose that low. For the time being, for the SPY, dipping down into those morning buyers, seeing if we can make a new low here. Not confirming the divergences. Not confirming the divergence on the RSI. Not confirming the divergence on the MACD. Just not really even confirming with price action there, according to the 9. Of course, Ifoma, thanks for being here today. Thanks for being patient too, Ifoma. I saw Reddit in there a few times. Thank you for being patient. NVIDIA really paying attention to that low. We aren't even close to it right now. This right here, 132.40. That means that these could be little opportunities in here. And then you want to see, boom. That's what you want to see here. Because if you don't, you would say, well, let me keep that tight, stop at like 132, say whatever the low is here, 132.37, bam. And then if you see that, you go, I'm not playing with that. Even if it reacts up, it can just go boom, sellers, boom again. That's how you end up lower. We're not there yet. We are not there yet. Just give me one moment to look at something real quick. I think my wife texted me. Hold on one second. We're good to go. CHR. I think someone was asking about this the other day. Archer is still opening those pathways down. You want to take this out for sure. Let's look at the 2-hour perspective. Okay, 2-hour perspective is better here. What are you dipping into? Where are you dipping into? Where'd the buyers show up? Immediately on a dip, you want to, on a pullback, on a dip, whatever you want to call it, you want to be looking where those buyers showed up. And it's all of that right there. You would have to lose all of this right here. So how likely do you think it is to continue? Well, just based on common sense, you would say, man, that's a big-ass zone. It's a big-ass zone. If you see the 30-minute continue to open those pathways, bad. But if you can just get some support here and show that 30-minute make a new high above this, oh, okay, well, the 2-hour is saying, hey, do we have divergence? Is this this? Is this that? Is this this? No, it's just a pullback. You can even do other things, right? This was on earnings. Maybe take that earnings and do a little fib. You know, if you need some convincing that this is still good, then you go, okay, oh, we're in golden pocket right now too. So if we hold up in the top end of that zone, that's a very good thing. The buyers are stepping in pretty damn early. But you probably want to see like good things from the 30-minute first. Like, right, break the high, say, okay, high's there, stop here. Boom is what I can see to the downside. That's my risk. Reward is, hey, we at least go up to like the middle of this gap. You see how that's bigger? Yeah, just trying to say like how we kind of set up the trade for the risk and reward. So take out that high, retest these buyers, and then go up. I see 2 hour going up right now until we lose this. You'd have to lose this entire zone. That's rough too. That's kind of an interesting one. It's pretty sporadic. Yeah, we're looking at a lot of things. We're looking at a lot of things right now, Nils. Not stuff that we normally do. Do you see how the environment has changed? So what did I do? We've looked at NVIDIA a few times. Click around. I'll look at it maybe in like at the end of the stream. I'll give it a look in like 20 minutes or so. Yeah, if you really think about it, the environment has changed. So what do we have to do? We have to change, right? Very simply. If the environment changes, well, the same stuff in the environment a few weeks ago is not going to work right now. Because why? The bearishness isn't, the uncertainty fully isn't there. An unknown hasn't hit. No bad things have hit. Vixpiration hasn't fully taken over. Vixpiration has not shown us the pathway down. So if it's not showing us the pathway down and people go from bearish and then they make those and then they close out of those, you actually flip back to bullish and then you actually set a trap once everyone's convinced it's not going to happen. Or you completely blow through all divergences on the 2 hour and you just rip. So both of those scenarios are more likely to happen than we turn down as of the price action right now. If we see that pathway open, we'll let you know. And if I'm not live, Patreon members, I'll still snap a picture and post it to Patreon and say, hey, that pathway down's open. The bears can have actually committed a little bit here, so watch if we start that downtrend. I'll see if Palantir's changed. We've covered that a lot today, too. I'll look at NVIDIA on my other charts for you real quick. Nothing's changed for NVIDIA, so there's nothing to do there. Nothing's changed for NVIDIA. It's holding price well. You're looking for sideways price action to end with 2 hour curling up to get that new high. The 30-minute is suggesting you are still not in any control by the bears. The 30-minute is in an area for NVIDIA where people will buy it. You are in that big buying bar for the 30-minute and the 2 hour. As far as Palantir goes, Palantir is in the same scenario as NVIDIA. Sideways, slightly down. Okay. We're not necessarily opening the pathway right now further to the downside. We're just in those 2 hour and we're in those 2 hour buyers. Those buyers who started from like 118.50 and went all the way up to 126.50, you're in there. You're in those strong ass buyers. And your 2 hour, yeah, it has divergence, but it doesn't have the divergence in the near price action. So you always want to assume like, hey, it can continue. Once you start to break on the 30-minute below 124, like 36, you start to open the door to downside for Palantir. But that downside could literally take you, and you could see a bounce anywhere. You could see a bounce anywhere from 126.50 all the way down to 118.43. And if you're being serious about it, you would say, okay, until I'm losing on the 2 hour 114.60, I can't really say there's dramatic downside available. Is Netflix ever going down? I would be inclined to say that you're seeing similar signals that you saw from May 7th. On May 7th, you created that signal, you dropped down, you opened the pathway down, but it acted like Palantir and just wiped it out. But you did see a 5% pullback on there. So if you're extending this move and getting tighter, you could see this actually shape up to, hey, if I lose critical levels, we talked about this, but we'll do it one more time. If the 2 hour breaks that low, look for the reaction up to test who? The sellers, if you see that selling come in. So is the trade right here? It can be if you want to like do the risk to reward hedge type play, if you see that confirmation. But then the real trade is here. The real trade is over here for Netflix. If you see that retest and you turn down. And guess what? Hey, this is all price action talk, but what shapes up? A pattern, right? Head and shoulders, the right shoulder that could have been. You want to see that low taken out slightly, though, to give you that hint. Like, hey, hint, okay, look for a retest. And you can do the opposite, right? In these sellers, a seller bar, You can say, okay, I'm looking here. And when if that reacts down and then comes back up, you say, okay, I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to have the stop here and say my risk is this, my reward is this. And maybe the play just happens quicker than that, and you don't have to hold for this entire downside move if that comes. But right now, you're heading up. Yeah, that's it for Netflix. We've gone over Google a bunch. Everyone sees upside and then wants to talk about the upside stock. Like I noticed that. It's like no one wants to talk about the SPY right now as it's in this this area. No one's really, like, a few people mentioning Amazon in the middle of this gap, right? No one wants to take an opportunity when it looks slightly risky. Everyone wants to see, you know, a 20,000% upside move first and then buy it, right? You have to assume some risk to make money in the market. And that's where your management of risk comes into play. You could manage your risk by using smaller positions. You could manage your risk by having tight stops. You can manage your risk by just deciding to wait for deeper prices before you invest. You can do all of those things. But everyone always sees this and then starts asking me questions. And then they see a pullback and they go, oh, shoot, it's dying. Google's going down, right? And then they sell it. And then it retests and then it goes up. Right? You have to assume some risk. You want to be buying things at lows, or at least when divergence is like confirming, right? We wait for those confirmations, or the swing trade is confirming, right? If you really want to look at something like Amazon simply, what are you looking for? Confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. You're not going to be that early guy, that day trader in the move. You might just be that swing trader in the move that says, hey, I'm looking for the move from here to here, to my weekly expected move to 220 or something like that. I don't know. And you just go, okay, cool. Nothing bad happened in these sellers, so we're good, right? Like, that's why I'm like, oh yeah, QBTS. Oh, well, should I buy it? It's like, if you want to. I'd wait for the next downward move, right? Downward moves are opportunities. In a market that's overall like 80% of the time, it's just bullish, bullish, bullish. It's like, yeah, the opportunities are when you dip down. What are you doing for the SPY right now? You're dipping down. If we want to dig into this and see if the SPY continues to be a good opportunity, it just hit the daily expected move. Just hit the daily expected move. We're tapping into those buyers. We're seeing if we can get the upside move to take out this high. What did UNH do today? Did that end up turning down on the 2-hour yet? All right. Yeah. Yeah, you're looking still. It's positive. So what are you looking for? You're actually looking for this price point of about 297. Really anywhere from, what's the 2-hour bar? Do we have a good 2-hour bar to look at here? Yeah, anything above, yo, this is crazy, but anything above 280, 250 has potential to turn around for UNH. Dollar is just going down, man. Dollar looks like it wants to like make a new low. That's crazy. You never made the high for the daily chart, so goodness gracious, you could see a new low for the dollar. That means something, maybe something unknown's out there. There's something unknown happening today. Is someone talking today? Like, is Trump doing some big thing? That's good, Ricardo. I'm sorry if it sounds a little like, sounds like I have a retainer or something. I had a piece of like walnut something stuck in my gum. And it sat there all night, so you can imagine the pain in my mouth I felt this morning. It went away though. So if you've heard me get a little bit clearer, I just rinse my mouth out with some really cold water. Helps it kind of die down a little bit. I literally pushed my gum because it was so bulgy to like squeeze something out of it, and I got a piece of nut and like a ball, just a ball of hardened blood. And I was like, ew, gross. They're fighting over the budget bill. Ah, shit. Will. Hey, Will, I see that picture you got there. I hope your family's doing well, buddy. Thanks for showing up today, man. Reminded me of my daughter for a sec. They're over at Abu's today. Abu has some problems with the house, so we're over there. She's my wife's over there a little early today. It looks like it's gonna go net, doesn't it? Like, it looks worrisome. That's my baby girl. Well, congratulations, buddy. Hope your family's doing well. At the end of the day, we're all humans, right? Charts are charts, but congratulations on you, baby. Hope your whole family's doing good, all right? Good thing for now is now we have set in kind of an intraday high. Let's see if we can take that out. Maybe we can retest, right? We want to see a burst. Really, you want to see the burst, though. Really, you want to see this. Then you come back down into there, and then you head up. This is not something that you use as support later, right? It will change. It's kind of dynamic. So what will happen here is if you get some kind of burst, we would change the zone to like wherever those buyers came in. And then you can go like this and retest to actually go higher. So this changes the whole way, but we don't even need that zone right now, right? You just know that you got to take out this high, right? You don't have to overcomplicate it if that stuff confuses you. You just want to see a high here. And you have divergence suggesting like, hey, this is good. Why is this divergence good right now? Because of this. Weirdly enough, because of this. We're not seeing even to go make another divergence to where you're convinced it's going to reverse around, then it makes another divergence where you're convinced it runs around, then you're convinced another divergence, and then it done. No, you're actually creating this. This would be a great thing to see, and then see it just burst through, and then see if we can take back that high. But we're not seeing the buyers commit too much right now either. So we're stuck. We're stuck in limbo for now. You're literally stuck in limbo with a slight tilt to like, hey, we're at that support where the buyer stepped in. So it's not bearish, but it's starting to play with that line. Oh, bro, I never have mouth problems, but I do still have baby teeth, if you guys didn't know. That's an interesting fun fact about me. If you guys want to know a fun fact, I still have 2 baby teeth. I never had permanent teeth behind them. So I wasn't born at 100%, apparently. Or I didn't develop at 100%, 99%. My 2 canines are baby teeth. And that's probably why I got a gap in my big ass beaver chompers in the front. Target's showing some strength. Why? Dipping down into the buyers, right? Dipping down into the buyers. Not bad. Take the high, take the low. That's a zone. Tap into it. Where did we come into it from? Did we come into it from the top side or the bottom side? Well, we didn't do this, right? No, we did this. And actually, you did this first. Test the high, go into the middle, then we break out, come back, now you go. That'd be great. These are like investment opportunities. I don't think they're like the easiest option plays still. I like it for investment. Dividend, man. You can hold on to that for like your whole life and just make dividend money your whole freaking life. It's awesome. All right, so the buyers from this morning now coming into play. We see the buyers from this morning coming into play just a little bit. If we're gonna make a higher low on the 5-minute, you'd like to do it right there. Hope everyone's having fun today. Buyers and sellers are fighting it out to determine which way we go. Exactly. Yeah, we were mentioning this using futures. If you look at futures from a 2-hour basis, you can see that you're in the area where you have sellers above, right? Sellers, sellers, even that gap sellers, right? I think that gap's somewhere in here and here. So you have sellers above you the whole way. So you need to wipe that out with a nice positive trend. But every single time we do this, we dip down into the buyers, we see buying. We never see those sellers clamp down on it. Sellers clamp down on it. They could have clamped down on it right here. Right on this wick, that could have been clamped down on. Wasn't. You didn't create the lower high. You still didn't create the lower high. So even if you're going to break through these levels, what would you like to see? You'd like to see this go up and then see those sellers come in again. And then you're kind of looking like this, right? Or you'd like to go down further first. And then you could see, uh-oh, and then you see that big reaction up and it just falls. It might be tighter than that though on like shorter time frames, but yeah, you can see how every single time you make that move up, you want that burst. So you want a burst here to make the new high. That's how I see it. I think you need to just blow past the sellers. You're stuck. Yeah, we kind of said this. You're in gray area. You're in the gray. And a lot of stocks say that. I think it was it Apple? Apple said gray area. Why? Because you're within the gap. You're within that gap, which is overall good, right? Good for a potential buy opportunity. But you've also shown the pathway lower, showing the sellers have a little control, and you have a gap above that you could just go, oh yeah, we're making that new high, flop. So you would want to take this out, but I think you want to take this out for Apple. I think you want above 212 again. So you're in that battle of sellers versus buyers right now. And Apple opened up the door to downside, so just be a little bit cautious there. But it's a good look. It means assume some risk, tight stop, you know? Those type of things can work in this environment. I want to see a ripper. Let's rip. Is that 5 minute making that as like a potential higher low for the day? Hell yeah. Come on. Get through that high. And then you got to get through this one. And then you got to get through this one. And then you got through the... You're kind of like not safe at all. That's why you want a smack to the upside. I don't think Google rug pulls. I think it could pull back to retest. I think it either keeps going or it retests and then keeps going for the time being. Lucas on a tangent again. It's my classic. It's my vibe. It's my vibe. There you go. Come on, give us good strength for like just 30 minutes of strength. And I'll have to hop off here in about I'll give it another like 10 minutes or so. I can do about 10 minutes. Pumps by pump and then set the trap, right? We're still paying attention if we set a trap at the end of today or tomorrow morning, right? If we get the extended move tomorrow morning, still looking for a trap here. I'm not convinced that that's enough for VIX expiration. And the test of 6,000, I think people will either sell those and reposition later or reposition them in extending them out, aka moving the expiration. If they move the expiration out or reach up higher, then you could see a period where you dip down to like 585 all of a sudden. That's the most bullish one. That's the one we mainly talked about because we haven't seen those pathways continue down yet. So still looking at 585 if we set a trap. And we talked about how that starts to open up doors to downside, right? You have to lose 585, like lose it pretty good. Excuse me. If they are selling our bonds, they might be also getting out of the currency in general to help themselves out. I haven't looked at JPY. I would need to analyze that tonight. There's those freaking wicks coming in the way. Make a new all-time high. Let's go. Go, Bitcoin. This is exactly what I want for Bitcoin. Come on. Come on. Rip it. Rip it, rip it, rip it. Get through. Get through, set the trap. That's what I want. Get through, set the trap, give us a daily pullback, and then we can be off to the races to 130, 129K. It's exactly what I want. I might even ride that little 30% for a little investment for a bit if Bitcoin does it. If Bitcoin follows the pathing that I'm setting, I would really like to take that 30% on an investment. Two-hour looks pretty good. 30 minutes, it's just back and forth. I think a 5 minutes still good to look at. See if we reject from these wicks. Ugh, that's unfortunate. Just a little bit of wiggle room, right, Noah? Has Google showed you any inclination of a pathway down from even a 5 minute? You're telling me that you have faith with this strong of a move in this little 5 minute thing here that hasn't even confirmed? No, I want it to go higher. I want it to go higher. Extend. I like 174 to 176. That's where we'll start to maybe set the trap. We have to see if those trap signals need to be formed. Looks like this. Look at this. You wiped out all of the divergence. It's great. You're setting the 2-hour divergence. That's great, right? If you blow this out of the water, then your 2-hour can just continue for another push higher. This is not bearish, right? We set this as a low. Hey, look at that. Remember that trade we talked about? Okay, if this goes up here, you want to do what? Set the stop. Upside is the top of the zone. Downside, my stop is here. That's like a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 now. I mainly was targeting just above this high, so I think it was 2-to-1 at 171. If I had contracts for like Friday, yeah, I wouldn't be holding those personally. That's me. That's a great move in one shot there. So if you hopped in here, or you hopped in anywhere down in here at those buyers, and you rode throughout this, and then you see that, your options should be looking pretty good, and FOMOers will start to get the premium to pump. I like it, but if I felt confident in it, wouldn't I have risked money? No, I told you Google confused me. If I thought it was obvious, if it was really, really obvious and I understood it to a T, I would have taken it, but I did tell you the idea. The idea worked. Up 300% on Google calls. Nice job, Bean. Celebrate that win, and then snap back to reality and be like, all right, let's not make a mistake here. Let's what if something bad happens? You know, just snap yourself back just a little bit, but it's good, right? That thing can ride to 175, but I think you might form something up there. Like you could see some rip up and down for a second. 149 2 weeks ago. Woo! That's good. Drinks for everyone on Bean. Let's go. Yeah, Bean. Bean put like 100K behind that, didn't you, Bean? So, you know, Bean's got like $300,000 extra right now. Did you have the tight stop though, Bean, just in case? Because you could dip back down all the way into those buyers right now. Yeah, don't take that off the table. I think as you extend up, you would be looking at holding up better, but Nvidia at 135. Volatility starting to break down here. Volatility did give you the lower high there. For the time being, you're confirming a lower high right now on the 30-minute for volatility, just so you're aware. You're confirming that if volatility wants to come back, it needs to get above these type of levels. It is showing down, down, down. Then it pops up. You see the 2 hours still where? Close to that center line. That curls down. Where are you going? You're going here. You're going right here. Right here. Beat that low. Create the divergence. Set the freaking trap. Boom. Something bad maybe Thursday morning. Friday. Thursday morning. Late Thursday. That's how I'd read into it for now. You always want to see if it changes. Right now, that's what it's pointing towards. It's going to lose that low and maybe fill that gap. We'll see if it holds in that gap, though. You've held in that gap a few times. I would say a test of 16, it was like 17 would be very, very good. Tech stocks are a moving. And you want more. You want more. IWM, take a peek at that over here. That wick is such a good thing, that 205.50. So if you lose that, you start to get a little bit more worried. No, I'm waiting for 174, then selling. I like it. I like it. You can run into that resistance at the top there, but hopefully you just keep blowing through, right? It doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. The 5 minutes getting pretty, you know, you could see little 5 minutes something, but look at the 30-minute, man. You're just like, okay, that's getting overextended. 2 hour, you're like, hey, I'm happy with it, but that's overextended. You're just overextended, but I think you could still see 176. This means for the 30-minute, we're going to have to make new signals here, right? We're probably going to play around up here, come back down, maybe retest into this type of area. Then we're going to come back up. Then we're either going to set a lower high or go up and make that divergence, take out this, and set up the right shoulder that could have been. I'm looking for a trap from Google, but I'm not inclined to think like, oh, I'm going to short it, right? You know, this is just, it's too good of price action to really like short. You can see a reaction above this. That really opens up a lot of pathways. And then you see that pull down. This could extend for longer than you think. Like this could be days of extension still. If we're able to, if the SPY's able to figure its stuff out here, you can extend this for quite some time. I would say at least 2 trading sessions today, tomorrow. So you just want to see up. Up is still the direction for now, according to what we've seen. Just you're in that battle right now, that those gaps are going to be battles. Yeah, I think I saw some AI stuff from Google like yesterday. Looking good in the neighborhood though. Volatility again real quick. Just keep my eye on the 2 hour. The 2 hour is starting to confirm down on the RSI. You are taking through the 2 hour 9 moving average there. The only thing below you is that 5 and where the buyers still stepped in of volatility, that is. So you want to see a break below 1770. All right, let's go. Come on, SPY. Do your thing. Come on, do the thing where you go boom to the upside. All right, 5 minute for now. Beat this previous high. We're still dealing with this nonsense. You have a long little trail of sellers throughout this upside, which is good because it means opportunities can be there. If you beat this, you find the retest. If you beat this, right, you go up wherever this stops. You're not chasing, right? Chasing. No, you're looking for if you're a day trader. You're looking for these buyers or these buyers to be used again. You're looking for orders in here, orders in here. You have your finger on the put button? Kind of. I have the finger on the put button if this happens for the SPY. I'll tell you exactly what I'm planning. Monthly expected move, we're going into the last week. So what do I think's coming? Bad things. I think we're at least going to see 585 next week. That's my true opinion, but I'm not going to take a play unless I see the setup. What's the setup? The setup is we go up, we see that retest in, we see the 30-minute go up again, and then as we get to 600 or even 6,000, right, a little short of that, we see a 30-minute divergence that also creates the 2 hour divergence at the same time. That's the play I'm looking for. That is the type of play I will risk more money behind. Not my little $500 hedge, take premium type position, but actual position that's like double that. Now, that's still risky. You are in extreme positivity. It's still risky, but it makes sense, right? That's my exact plan for the trade. Bitcoin all-time high, did it do it? Yes, fuck yes. Let's go. Yes! Yes, that's so good. Oh, I had it marked off wrong. God dang it. Yes, Bitcoin, yes, that's all you need. Now Bitcoin can drop. Now Bitcoin can drop and I'm happy. Okay, scale up to the moon. Go to the moon for all you moon boys out there, but I'll wait for a daily pullback. I'll wait for a new low. right in here, right in here. If we can figure it out in here, that'd be awesome. And I'll take that little 30% play. Right now, boom. Let's go, dude. Let's look at that 5 minute. What does the 5 minute like to do? It likes to retest things, right? Even on the way up, as you make new highs, you want to make sure everything's good. That means look for like wicks down, buy back up. SMCI looks like it's trying to figure its stuff out on the 2 hour. You're not losing the critical point of 4150. 5 minutes trying to reverse around the trend. For the 30 minute, the sad part for the 30 minute is you have to take back, you're in that gray area too for SMCI. Maybe it would be clearer on the hourly. Hourly would say this is where the buyers step in. Hourly would say this is somewhere around where the buyers try to step in. Maybe even 30 minutes says that too, right? Buyers step in. This low is what you're watching. You're not breaking that, so you're good. You came down into the gap for some support there to do what? Go higher, right? So use these buyers again. You're trying to use the buyers again right here. You have a gap beneath you, right? So just pay attention to that. But this 30 minute is going to make an attempt here. And I think you need to at least take back this right here, 45.78. You see something like boom, and then you kind of retest, and then you head higher. If at any point you see this low taken out, well, then you're opening up the door to what? Well, closing below this, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So unless you have divergence over here, that's how we would talk about it. So I want to see SMCI get a big move to 45.78 above that, and then look for a retest, even a wick or something like that. NVIDIA's trying to ramp up, right? NVIDIA's trying to ramp up. The sad part for NVIDIA is a break above the actual high is what you need. You need a break above this wick for sure for NVIDIA. It's right in the middle here. You need a break above this for NVIDIA. But really, if you're looking at all this, you're going, wow, we just need to see a new high here. We need to see the new high, retest, without curling back down, and then see more upside, and then set a trap later on towards like 140. That could take you into Tuesday, though. I'm not really leaning towards that. I don't think you lean into next week with upside. Unless you just start to boom. I think if you see upside, a lot of upside next week, then you're just booming. You're gone. You're going to all-time highs, possibly. You saw us close, right? The closing of the week above 6,000 for SPX is a big deal. So if you see that towards the end of the week, just think like, hey, if it pulls back, you're looking for bullish opportunities on like a 2 hour and daily scale. JP Morgan, yeah, we went over that one as well earlier. Nice. Go 5 minute. Go, go, go. Let's do 30. Sorry, where the hell's my JPM? Yeah, JP Morgan still says up to for the time being. This says I want to go up. Right? The bad part here is that high 266.61, 266.66. Ooh, not a bad thing, actually. A good thing, right? You just barely peeked your head above this. So that still gives you the inclination of if they go and find buyers and we break back out, you're probably going to see a new high here, right? And then if those buyers step in here and you get lucky and you see like a wick or something like that, you try to grab that, then it heads to the upside. This is kind of like day trading type stuff. But if you're really looking at this, you're holding this bar across and you're just going, what is this? This is a 30-minute high or low. If you're looking at it simply, you're going, okay, the 2 hour swing is on, right? The 2 hour swing is high potential here. If you see a nice green bar like this, bam, that takes you above this high. That means you are likely to go try to get above this, right? Management for the trade, moving the stop up if you're doing things shorter term makes total sense to me. I don't think this is bearish right now. I don't even think your 5 minute is suggesting it's bearish. Look at the buyer bar from the 5 minute here. Bam. You go up. You set that intraday high. You curl down into those buyers right to the middle, right, of your other zone. and then you go up. So beat that high, and you're probably going to try to take out this one as long as the sellers don't step in. You have sellers in that gap. So I think it looks good. If it starts to lose this wick, even this low right here, I would start to be a little bit more worrisome. So technically, this whole trade is like risk, right? And then you're stopped, and then your reward is like way up here. If you want a level for that, I'll give you a level. 275. You can go all the way up to 275 and it makes sense. Do you see how we could extend for another 2 push higher on the 30-minute? If we're going to get to those weekly moves and stuff like that, you would go boom, retest, get another boom, and then at around that 275, you want to start to be like, oh, watching out for things. Yeah, I think it's gearing up, and I think you have the possibility with how it's holding to see an upward move here. If it starts to lose these lows, there's your stop. So you're technically like, okay, risk, reward on the first trade to like 271, 270. Look at that risk to reward. It's not bad. SPY running into problems with those sellers again. If it needs to, let it do this and let it go back up. If it really needs to, get into here, right? You can kind of see it. It's hard to see, and a lot of the time you want to see that sell wick. You see the downward wick, the selling of the next bar, and then you see the downward wick here where it pulled down. Sellers right there as well. So you have this slight sliver in here for positivity. If you wanted to, though, you could mark off the block. You literally could mark off the high and the low, and look where it adds up to, right where that happens, right? Right in the middle, right here is where you want to test. You want to go, just see even a wick down like this. You don't have to see like price fall. Now 5-minute, you could see price fall for a bit, get into this area, and then you want to see that next high. Once again, that would mean day traders would say, I snag it here, I have my stop here, and I have the long taking me above this high. So we would say, okay, there's your day trade. Risk, double the reward, pretty nice. Right? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't talk about, I'm not the best day trader, right? I say that multiple times. The Google one worked. Wish I did that, you know? I'll say that this time. But I wasn't confident enough, so I understand why I didn't make that decision. Very nice. Let's look at TLT for a sec. Okay, it's setting up that divergence here. Is the yield going higher or is it rolling? Rolling, so TLT is showing like, hey, TLT can see a bounce back here, right? If this confirms down, what are you? Break the low. Don't stop here and come back. You want that to break, maybe go like this, break again, go like this, and then you'll probably see lower. Oh, that was terrible. You'll probably see lower right into there. So TLT looks pretty good here, in my opinion. For a risk to reward, probably put that stop just below you. Yeah, bottom of the bar. I'd just be going with bottom of the bar. I like TLT here, actually. I'm going to look at it right now. Give me a moment. What's the position on TLT look like here? Do I want to try for a month? Let's look at a month here. See how expensive that is. June 20th. Ooh, 87. Perfect. I like 87. Shit, I like 88 too. Those are cheap, man. Yeah, looking at 87 and 88. I'd be comfortable letting that go for a pullback at that point if we got there. So, yeah, I like TLT. I don't know if I'll do a massive position. That's still kind of a risk to reward right now. I don't know if we're in a downtrend. But I don't mind 5 or 6 contracts there. Maybe even 10 because it's pretty cheap. Might do 10 on that. What was the news that sent this market positive? The market is not positive right now. The market is not curled up in positive territory. The market is down 0.19%. We are not through the mess yet. I do not care what the news is, by the way. Don't care. Yeah, but where does it sell off from, Dave? Selling off from here? Bad. Selling off from here? Bad. Selling off from here? Not bad. Right? So it's just where is price at that time? Yeah, you do. I had no idea there was a trade deal. Abdullah, thank you so much for subscribing today. Appreciate you, buddy. You saw when I cared about news. That was like the trade deal, the UK trade deal, and things like that. The Monday news, right? The news that would, right? The Friday, remember Friday? Last Friday? I was like, we're walking up a plank here, and it looks like we're going to get some bad news. Watch out for Friday. Risk off weekend, right? And then we drop, and everyone's saying 565, 575, 585 for the drop, and we just do this. I collect premium, and then we see that thing snap back. Like, I didn't know this would snap back, by the way. I thought this was bad, but I knew that we were below key levels and that we could see some kind of snapback to roll that again. I would have probably doubled down. Actually, it was this here. We needed to like scale up slowly and then just see that roll for bad things. But the plan for the trade was never to hold on to shorts or hold on to long puts. There's fear. I think everyone's waiting for that sell-off, though. I think everyone's ready for that one. So show them upside first. Yeah, the downgrade was immediately, apparently, this is what was said by Besant, was like, he was like, it doesn't matter. Oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. It's never happened in our history. One white dude with glasses comes out and goes, it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Holy shit, I stayed on way too late. Fuck. Wife's gonna kill me. It's all right. Might as well stay on now 6 more minutes. Watch this whole bar. Well, you never lost trend. I mean, just look at that. Look at this. Look at this guy, man. It's crazy, but it's crazy. But look, there was your Monday. Bink, right? I'm not a trend line guy. I'm not buying on a trend line, right? But I can understand what's across from that trend line. Buyers, 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 buyers. So then guess what? They stepped up again and boom, new high. And then we go, oh no, Moody's, right? Whatever excuse, Moody's, Moody's. I say VIX. I say VIX contracts. That's what I say. And then we're going to go, ah! Look at that. Some people might even say, oh, hidden divergence or something like that. I don't think you have hidden divergence here, but some people might say that. Where'd we go into? We went into these buyers in here. We're in there. We lost it. And then it just goes, and you're looking for the time it does this. Oh. Oh, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a Doug Trio. Doug Trio, right? Doug Trio. What happened is they realized this isn't an empty threat. That's what it seems like to me. They realized the money pumping scheme for the rich to continue to get richer was actually going to potentially stop, and they go, wow, first come, first serve, right? It's kind of like, when someone does the deals, when someone does a deal, like if I said right now, hey, the next 10 people to get, like I'm saying it to 300 people, the next 10 people to go click on the course, get it for $20. That is not the case right now, guys. But if I said that, I bet you immediately at least 10 people would rush and go buy it for $20. Right? So it's first come first, and then the other people are like, damn, now what? Now you have to pay 10 times that, right? Qs are up. Let's go. Qs are up. That's very good. Oh, shit. Show the new high. Because if the Qs are going higher, ooh, what do we know is the big reversal signal between the SPY and the Qs? Yum, 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 yum. The big reversal signal for the SPY and the Qs is when the SPY makes it and the Qs don't. The Qs aren't able to get there. That's why this pump originally was kind of scary for a moment there going into Friday. Because Friday, that behavior that I was talking about over the weekend from the Qs and a lot of those stocks, I was like, this is not good. AMD, I think I kind of related AMD. Uh-oh, come on, don't do that. You need to go higher, buddy. You're trying to get there. You might as well do it. At least you took this out. That's good. That's a good start. Get a new high. AMD, I think for me, pretty similar to something like Amazon, but overall, you're still stuck in those sellers. So what do I need to take out? I really need to take out this, right? I need to take out this, obviously. That can really hold up better now, right? Shorter time frames. But ultimately, I want to take this out. I want to see a boom or retest, fill the gap, then boom. And then this retest over here would be like, okay, we're going to try. One thing I'm worried about, though, is the 2-hour for AMD and the wick. Look at that wick. That is a big seller up there, okay? It's a big seller. So if we see this 2-hour curl up and we go do 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 do, oh, that'd be bad. You're confirming divergence, which means you have a chance to do what? Take out this level. It would be nice to confirm this level as a 2-hour high or low, though. Because then if you roll, retest, maybe up high, then you go again. And maybe it's higher. Maybe it's this, right? Show the pathway down, curl up, curl back down. Get these sellers to get in action again. So I still like AMD. I think AMD is dipping down still into buyers. I don't think it's like awful, awful, awful. I just would really be watching. I don't know if you expect to get higher than that wick. I could double check. It pretty much says like, hey, just above this wick could be some resistance as well. So I'd be watching that wick closely. If you're able to blow that out, then look for continuations. If divergence is there, just treat it seriously. I like it. I don't mind that. I think it's doing what it needs to do. Come on, Mr. Spy. I watched that anime, Spy Family. I watched it. I thought it was cute as hell. Tina, yeah, thanks for coming in today, Tina. It's nice to hear from you. I don't mind it. I'm just not the biggest trader of AMD, to be totally honest with you. Now would be a good time to short Google. That's a big extended move for even a 30-minute. You're probably going to see a nice retrace into where. The first place you want to look is where the buyers can first step in. I would say right in here. And this 30-minute move might not even be done. If you're able to find the buyers really early here, you can just see a wick and start heading up higher. Did you hit that? Yeah, you hit 174 though. Nice job. I just like trading it. Yeah, we can differ, right? That's good. No, I meant trading it. I don't really like trading AMD, but you're finding some success with it, so I can't I can't clap back at you at all. You know, people just we can like different things. I like soccer. You like basketball. Actually, I kind of like basketball too. Football, you know, eh. Now might not be the time to short. Like I said, until like really the time to short, you haven't seen those pathways. The time to hedge is a different conversation. Noah, the time to hedge would be more what you're looking at here. TLT would be calls a month out. As long as my thing here is, right, and the reason I'm still hesitating on it is because I haven't seen enough rolling. I haven't seen at least a confirmation here. I haven't seen a confirmation with TLT. I'm still worried about taking this out, right? I don't know if this is downtrend yet until I kind of see that and fail through all this. So I can risk to reward it now if I want. I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. You would have heard me quiet for like a whole 2 minutes if I'm pulling a trigger. Usually I'm quiet for a minute or two. Unless I'm fun accounting it, then I just say like, fuck it. So I like calls on TLT, but I'm still waiting to see, do we make a new high first? I don't want to be caught on some ramp up in yields, right? TLT can do crazy stuff down there. I'll probably end up making a decision by the end of the day. I would say what I would look for by end of day from like the 10-year is maybe even another upward move. If we don't make a new high and then we roll, once we break this, I'll probably be making that decision. Right? I will look this deep into the 10-year if I'm going to take a position, but I want to make sure there's no new high. New high, I just probably don't do anything. I'll sit on my hands. More for TLT too, right? If you're looking at TLT, you're looking at the same thing, just opposite. So what you're looking for here is like, yes, we have already made the new low, right? We don't have the divergence like on this 30-minute at the same time, but it's getting tight. It's getting tight. We could explode. And so I have to see like, hey, do we do this? And then do we do this? And then I can make a better decision and be like, okay, for a month, I could ride that maybe to like 88 first and then look from there, see if I want to hold on to it, leave runners, do whatever. And if it just goes like this and goes wham with a big gap up, I just say, unlucky, right? Maybe invest. Investing wise, I wouldn't mind doing that now, actually. Maybe I should just lean towards that. I got decisions to make by the end of the day. What do I think about NVIDIA? I think NVIDIA goes up as far as the price action shows right now. Even beating this high, that's good. So I think NVIDIA goes up now, especially if you make a new high here. I think NVIDIA is going to, it could go up to like 144 and make sense. Let me double check. Yeah, like 144 makes total sense. What is this overall, right? It's a 2-hour pullback. So I think you might be leading into a trap. Just so you're aware, I think you're leading into a trap, but I think you could still see an extended move. And then you see that kind of fail towards like 140 to 144. If you get 144, you might not have the divergences. You might just be looking for that to continue. That's how bullish this market is. If you see a major move here that doesn't create any weakness, right, and it's just a boom, you always expect that to extend because you see how much work it would have to do to break down. If it's going to break down, it's going to show you. It'll show you, right? So what you're looking for is, and I still would be risk off on this high if we got to 144, 145. I still would be risk off because if this is for whatever reason a blow off trap and then it just wipes it out, I'd be worried. I would just say this is a good trade and be out and be done with it for now. Maybe not even shorting, maybe not even calling, just kind of waiting. I don't mind that though. I think Nvidia to 140 looks pretty good. As of right now, we still haven't done fully what I want to do with Nvidia, which is take out these highs. I want to see a print of like 136.50 and then I'll feel better about it. And then you never want to lose this low. You don't even want to lose this one, in my opinion. We'll see. All right, guys, the girls are back. I have to head out for the time being. We will be live later today on YouTube, right back here. Okay, right back here. We will be live on YouTube as well for the afternoon. As far as JP Morgan goes right now, it is kind of failing that upward move. Not able to see support just yet. It is still within those buyers, trying to get some support right now. Let's hope that that happens. If you're really looking at this from a tight perspective, you're just going, okay, right here, we need to hold up in this bar, and we don't want to lose this one. So you don't really want that pathway open, so you don't want to see a new low here. If you don't see a new low here, then I think you start to reverse from here for JP Morgan, all right? Thank you guys so much for being here today. I have to hop off for a bit. Pay attention to your risk, pay attention to your reward. This can be an interesting week where I wouldn't even say like taking like myself just out of the plays. I'm sitting on my hands for a bit, waiting for the potential trap opportunity for a hedge, waiting for the potential for a downtrend to start. Or if we see some kind of blow off moment, you're still looking for those 30-minute or 2-hour pullbacks, right? So there's a way to play this without having to risk money this week, and you have expiration so you can see some crazy spikes in both directions. So I would totally understand if someone's like, I don't really want to do this market right now. Direction's kind of difficult, and it looks like we need a daily pullback. Like, I totally get that. So thank you guys for being here today. We will be live later today, and I hope to see you there. So hope you guys have a good one. Good luck out there. Manage risk. Trade like water. You'll be just fine. Peace out. I come back on for Power Hour. So an hour before the close, we'll be back up here live. All right, guys. Peace.